Good afternoon. Hello, welcome to my cake kitchen. I am Gladys, and over here I make simple, informative tutorials to help you navigate cake decorating easily. My time was running up. I'm late, and I'm like, there are a few people set over there that might be going, where is she? Where is she? I appreciate you for being here. It hasn't been my smooth sailing morning, and I had to attend to my own self-care and a few other things, but we are here. Okay, I don't like to give excuses. I just like to keep it pushing. Okay, so great to have you. Happy Tuesday. How is your Tuesday going? And if you're meeting me for the first time, let me put on my clothes in the public sphere. Okay, I like to think of it as the marketplace. It just seems like I come and I put on my clothes and it's like, okay, what are we doing? Well, we're putting on clothes. But today, what are we doing? Today is a mixed bag. I actually initially scheduled Cake and Giggle, okay? Because I realized last week, because we had a lot happening with the football cake, so much information to pass, I just thought I missed out a lot on the chat. I went back and I looked at the content of the chat and, oh, Cocktail, aren't you a sweetheart? Turns out I saw eventually that when you were asking about the P.O. box, you had something to send. Oh, you know what? Warms my heart. Thank you. So I just thought, based on the fact that I wasn't able to interact much with you guys over the last week, there was like 5 days tutorial running from Tuesday through to Saturday, right? It was, through to Saturday. Meanwhile, it was still packed with so much information, and I felt like I lost out interacting with you guys, right? But then, importantly, there was the subject of the developing cake complaint, which I eventually stalled discussions on. So today was supposed to be a Cake and Giggle session where we'll come and sit and chit chat, keep it light and sweet and catch up on things. But I'm not in the mood for Cake and Giggle, because sometimes the Cake and Giggle has to come naturally, isn't it? I've got to feel like I want to have fun. Today, that's not what I'm feeling, because what I'm feeling is that complaint is developing. It's not a stressy subject. I can handle it, but it's like, oh, why have I got to deal with a human being who is not so kind? And that is where I am at. I do not want to have to let that impact on you, because frankly, over here, we try to be professional with a dose of fun in it, some connection. So my goal today is to do something quite mindless. So I'm recycling this cupcakes into something I don't know. If we find out what we eventually create, well, that's okay. But I'm just going to keep it moving. And then we will probably be focusing on the importance of communicating in business, as in the importance of actually showing up in your business as a professional, dealing with it in terms of being a professional, and also being able to communicate or hold your own in a professional manner. Because quite frankly, there are ways we all communicate in our everyday life, between friends and family, to acquaintances, to friends and what's not. We all have ways we communicate with each other. But one thing we can all agree is communicating professionally takes a level of skill and understanding. You know, some days you want to tell your boss to do one, okay? But there is a professional way you could express do one and still look like an absolute pro, right? And that takes skill and time. That said, in cake decorating, I recognize that as small business owners, that is also a skill that most of us could do with a slight bit of improvement in that much of, besides even people who went to pastry school and developed their skill over time, unless you're coming into the business with a very formidable formal business relations sort of head or aspect to the business, it's like most things you're going to do in the business of cake decorating, you're going to learn as you go along. I also appreciate or understand that for some people also, past experience and past careers might lend to the expertise of being able to communicate professionally, which comes handy. But for most people who want to go from hobby baking to establishing a business, where does communicating professionally sit, and how do you even handle that? Because handling that in the first place and handling it well will open the opportunities for you to feel confident and also give credibility to your customers, who will be able to purchase from you with absolute confidence. Remember, business is about interactions with people, and whilst I almost feel like, oh, I can't be handling this is just because I have a relationship with you and I can be vulnerable to tell you what I am feeling. But part of actually holding this conversation and also trying to support you with information to communicate professionally is a way for me to also process my own issues so that I can be able to show up professionally in front of the customer, whether I am handling conflict or I am encouraging them for them to buy a cake, or I am just holding consultations to reassure them that I am a skilled professional who can be able to assist them. So that is where we are going to be today, handling communications in the business of cake making. It is an absolutely boring subject, believe me. When I've tried to kind of create the videos for handling one's business, or communicating in business, it can be awfully boring, but those are the boring things that you have to learn to exercise the muscle at, just so that you can achieve success in doing so. Imagine a customer emailing you in the middle of the night. I mean, if people send you emails, that is completely different. But say, imagine a customer texting you about 11 o'clock in the evening asking, oh, with a question mark and a photo of a cake you haven't made, or it's not your cake, asking how much. How do you deal with that? If a customer contacts you within a time where their cake is so short notice and you're like, oh, what am I going to do? And what other structures do you even have in place to support effective communication with a customer from contact time to producing the cake and collection, just so that it makes your process easy? We are not going to be able to discuss all of that today, but I'm just going to take one aspect of looking at the general attitude when you are trying to communicate with a customer, just so that you can set yourself for doing this right. With that said, I'm going to go into the chat and then we'll see what's happening there, and I'll come back and I'll talk to you. The chat is popping. Lollipop, hello there. How are you, my dear? I've been gone since Saturday, but it hardly feels like I've hardly been gone, isn't it? Right? And Corketail, all of you, Corketail, Tapita, we've been catching up over there in the community post. So great to be back, right? Tapita, apparently over here, you guys must not have daylight saving time. What does that mean? Let's see. Corketail, good afternoon, darling. How are you today? Are you working today? Are you back at work? Or you're over there tending to your birdies? Okay, the lady who has the birdies. Lovely to have you back. Okay, Tapita and Alex. Alex, thank you. Okay, Alex, is it Alex GYFT? Thank you for the comment. I will ask that let's stay respectful of each other, okay? But I appreciate the compliment. Thank you. Oh, okay. Tapita, Cocktail, and the rest of you are busy catching up in the chat. So you know what? Let me get a bowl and crush these cupcakes. That is me trying to recycle. That is me trying to recycle my cupcakes, but I'm not doing anything serious. In fact, I am probably going to settle for something so silly, like a banana or something. I don't know. I'm just trying to make a hyper realistic cake whilst I talk to you. So that will be it. But anyway, talking about the importance of communication in business, what are the chances what are the times that you have to think about communicating in business with a customer? Well, as a business, that is, if you set yourself up as a business, interacting with a customer is part of your daily activity. Whether at the point of contact, the customer is initiating their intention to buy a cake, or they are making an inquiry for something, or they are picking up their cake, or they are asking questions about what you can offer them. All of that is complete processes that will provide opportunities for you to talk to your customer at every turn. So for that, it is important that you learn how you can do this so that you can achieve great results. For me, most of my contact, obviously, with customer comes at the first point of initiation, where they initiate their intention to buy a cake. I have made this process a lot easier by providing a contact form to customers where they can easily find me, fill out the form, express their intention, and provide me extra detail about their purchase or their intended purchase of the cake they desire. So as a result of that alone, going back and forth and asking them, what do you want? How do you like it? Is almost streamlined. But of course, as a custom cake business, I do take every opportunity I can to gather every little information that will support good outcomes for the decorative process. I cannot tell you the number of times a customer has sent me an email detailing their cake, and I've spoken to them and I've gotten a little more context to the details they have already provided. Because the service I provide is highly personalized, it is key for me to have absolute clarity when communicating with a customer. I'm not going to make a cake if I don't have understanding about what they need or how I can support them. So as a result of that, for me, even though I have the contact card to make communication much easier and streamlined, there is still room for when I come to speaking to a customer. In fact, I always make a point of holding a teleconsultation with them, and I make it a point, it's a no obligation to purchase process where they can still talk to me, ask me questions, and I do that just so that there is absolute clarity, there is also connection and understanding, and also to build trust with your customer. You can never take away the opportunity to talk to a customer and introduce yourself so that they have a sort of idea to who you are. Now, I have seen online or in certain places where somebody says, oh, customers should never call me, they should just text me. Each to their own. I don't have any problems with that. But for me, it is for the absolute essence of clarity, trust building. I make room, and in fact, I go out of my way to speak to a customer. Now, speaking to a customer doesn't necessarily negate the fact that you will have to present them with some form of written communication. In fact, for me, talking to them actually breaks the ice and helps me put myself in front of them, whilst also understand the key necessities of their need and be able to offer them information that will support how much I can offer them or how I can helpfully support them. With that said, much of the communication we have over the phone, be it verbal or not, I have to then come and streamline that information into text form via email and send it to them. And that takes a particular skill, because if I spoke to a customer and the conversation was quite casual, ranging from a few different subjects, especially when we are discussing the subject of a cake. Say, I'll give you a typical example. Mr. A contacts me for a cake for their wife. And they're like, oh, my wife likes to walk the dog and wants to probably bring something about the dog. And she likes to buy the dog some specific biscuits. I am not going to email them and tell them, oh, your wife likes the dog and that we must include details of dog biscuits on the cake. But I should find a way to summarize that information that might play a key role to the decorative process to the customer. With that in mind, let me just get this. with that in mind, how do you go about doing this? Well, first of all, if you are a beginner, sorry, I was just trying to catch up in the chat and see what is happening there. First of all, if you're a complete beginner, it can be awfully hard to do that. Remember the part where there was a time where we were I was speaking about how you can handle communication. I think how to set yourself up from the beginning. How to set yourself up from the beginning. And one of my absolute recommendations, this is just buttercream. I'm adding buttercream to the cake that I have crushed. Cupcakes I have crushed. You know, this is, call it cake, upcycling cake, right? There was a time in a previous episode where we were talking about how to set yourself up, especially making the transition from a beginner cake maker to a professional. And I did make a point of mentioning that if you're a beginner cake maker, make sure that you do not use the same number, your personal number, for business. And I still stand by that. If that is not going to be possible for you to do, as in if you don't feel as though you are in the position where you could easily have a different number or a different means of contact, then perhaps it will be best to set yourself up with a different form of contact that does not interfere with your personal life or your personal circumstances. I'm trying to say, for you to be able to establish proper communication that may present professionally, it starts with how you set yourself up and intend to proceed from there. With that in mind, can you speak to customers over your personal phone when you are a beginner transitioning into business? Yes, you can certainly do that. But I find, in my experience, and from speaking to a few other beginner bakers who wanted to make the transition, I find that creates boundary issues. Because when you are starting, you are a complete beginner, you are impressionable, you are easy to please, you don't feel very confident. If a customer just texts you and was like, oh, I would want a cake, you are more inclined to respond to them in a very casual, non-professional, informal manner, which is fine. But by so doing, you blur the lines between when you can remain professional and when you cannot. Because imagine the person who texts you late in the night about 11 o'clock wanting a cake, and then you're lying in bed, and then you decide to respond to that. Hiya, especially a typical example, which may be random, but follow me on this one. A typical example of someone contacting you in the middle of, hiya, Han, do you mind? Because when people want a cake last minute, they tend to be really nice sometimes. So, hiya, Han, do you mind making me this cake for, say, tomorrow afternoon? I'm so sorry. I know it's last minute. Can you help me? You are feeling like, okay, tomorrow 11 o'clock, I can manage. Meanwhile, it's 10 p.m. the night before. You're like, okay, magician, I can make this work. Now tell me how you are going to handle this problem when you make the cake at 11 o'clock and Sandra comes and picks, Sandra is a random name, by the way. Sandra comes and picks up her cake at 11 o'clock and then has complaints against you. What are you going to do? Are you going to go back and go, Han, I'm sorry, I made your cake, I can't help you? Or you are going to have to resort to some sort of formality to address the problem? Tell me, right? So I'm throwing this to those of you in the chat. Lollipop and the rest of you. I don't normally. Cocktail is asking, will I charge extra for last minute orders? I don't take them generally, so I wouldn't. I find no, No, I don't charge the extra. I find I understand why people do it. I find no justification for it. And generally, I'm inclined to say no to last minute orders. I already have a lot going on. I don't want to be bothered by the stress of a last minute cake. And if I do take it, I do take it at my own discretion. So I would take it knowing that I would be able to execute on the order without any reason. So I can't justify why I'll charge extra for it. But there has been some very rare cases where the extra charge is justified for, say, if I have to order things in very short notice where postage cost is higher than my normal relative charge, then yes. So do you see what I mean? So it's neither here nor there for me. So yeah, I was asking you a question in the chat, people. Try and engage here. So I am not by myself talking to an empty room, people. I know you guys are having fun without me. Hello. No, I'm kidding. Right. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I've just crushed the cupcakes and I'm mixing some buttercream into them. This is just recycling old cakes to make something out of it. Lollipop, are you not going on the school run? Oh, hi, darling. You're not going for the school run. Are you okay, my lovely? Okay. Tapita, Lollipop had a question about icing. Am I missing some? I'm sure I missed something in the chat, but you guys can bring me up to speed. What am I missing, people? Right, please repeat the question again, right? Because you guys have been chatting away and I have been over here talking to myself. So that the question must have moved. Oh, okay. The baby wanted to go out, but Lollipop isn't leaving until she does the school run. All right, my dear. Oh, okay. You got me panicked in a minute. Right. Cocktail. Do go back and find out and let's see what you're asking. So I was asking a question, if you can help me answer this. So you are starting a business, right? Or you are sort of at the beginning phases of running your business. You think everything is hanky-dory with your customers. Sandra texts you in the middle of the night, hey, Han. And mind you, the hey, Han means there's informality there. Sandra texts you, hey, Han, can you make me a cake, maybe a last minute cake or a short notice cake for, say, 2 days from now? And you're like, hey, Han, I could too. Don't worry. Hey, lovely. Right? And then you make the cake and Sandra comes back and texts you, hi, the cake was not up to par and that she had a genuine complaint about it. What would you do about a situation like this? I'd like to hear your thoughts in the chat, okay? So let me hear it. What am I doing? I think I want to make a banana, but I don't know what I'm doing essentially for now. Okay, I'm going to put that in the microwave a little bit. Right, so cocktail, you're saying, I think I keep moving from cocktail's name. I've gone from cocktail to actually cocktail. But cocktail, yeah, you offer them credit if it's a genuine issue. Okay, so type in the chat how you will communicate your intention to give them credit in the chat. I want to see what exactly you will be saying to them and how you would say it. Okay, because remember, today we are discussing how to communicate in business, right? So you have this customer who comes to you you have served them, they go, and then suddenly they have a query. Clearly, you are up for helping them solve it. So you're proactive. You're like, okay, I'll offer you a credit, but just type in the chat how you will go about communicating them. Because if they sent you a text going, hey Han, the cake was not good, I just want to let you know, are you just going to tell me, okay, I'll give you credit? How do you go about communicating to them about an issue like this? Lollipop's suggestion here is, I would listen to the complaint, take it on board, see who is at fault, and maybe offer a discount or refund. Well, thank you, Lollipop, for that. I appreciate the input. I think the input and the intention for the process is all right. Now, I want you, Lollipop, here's some work for you to do in the chat. I want you to type what your first response would be to them. Say you got the complaint. They said they have a problem with the cake. So, genuine thing. Hi, I wanted to thank you for the cake. I just wanted to let you know that the cake fell short of my expectation. The buttercream was not great, and the cake just wasn't what I expected, right? So, assumably, this is the information what are you going to say directly as a response to them? So this is Cocktail's response. Okay. Cocktail says, hi, Sandra. Hello, Sandra. I appreciate your reaching out to me in relation to your order received on this date with the image attached. After reviewing your complaint and taking your feedback on board, I concede. Okay, is that I concede or I could? I take it that's I concede with your issue, which is genuine. Fantastic attempt, Cocktail. Please let me know. Okay. Warmest regards. Cocktail, I will note your response. Fantastic attempt. We will take it apart and we will talk about it. Now I'm waiting for Lollipop's response, and I am also waiting for Tapeta. Tapeta, I am waiting for your response and what you have to say. I have a banana here as my guide, so. Prawn cocktail. It's Tapeta in the chat. We are waiting. We are essentially waiting for Tapeta. Yes, I really didn't know what I wanted to do with my scrap cake, but it kind of feels like I could make a banana. I mean, when a cake maker is bored, they make a banana, isn't it? So I am making a banana, okay? It's like, why? Because I fancy a banana. All right. No, it's because I want a chance to use my new tools, okay? That's really the reason why I want to make a banana. I want to use my painting tools. A banana is actually very easy to derive. Cocktail is asking, how many times can we reuse the cake and icing to practice? I mean, supposing you're using it as practice cake and nobody is going to ever eat it, you can use it until you decide when you want to chuck it. There's really no guidance for that. So I would say that is completely up to you. Because if it's going to be practice cake and you're going to be reusing it, I think the safety element of how the cake will taste for someone to eat is completely out of the question, isn't it? So I think for that reason, you could essentially just use it until. I have seen online people I've seen online people use cakes and save them in freezer for a very long time. I do that myself. So this is prawn cocktails lollipops response. Hi Sandra, I'm sorry to hear that your order didn't meet your expectations. I hope I can assist you to rectify this. I hope I can assist you to rectify this. Please, can you elaborate on XYZ, why you didn't enjoy it? Thank you. Fantastic response also. Lollipop. Okay. So for the two responses, I'm asking, is Tabitha in the chat, right? So for the two responses at the moment, lollipop. Okay, that's Tabitha. Sandra, dear Sandra, thank you for reaching out. I'm disappointed to hear about your experience. I have reviewed your complaint and reviewed all the ingredients as well as the process of making your cake. Let's see what I'm missing from Tabitha. Finding that there was an issue, I'd like to offer a store credit towards the future. I hope we can work together to make your next order even better. You know what? I am so proud. Thank you guys. You know what? All your responses are brilliant, okay? They are fairly acceptable. I guess you have tailored your responses to the simple sort of generic scenario that I have given. So for that, I think there's not a lot to go on here. And I think if I received a message like that, more so, if I had to rank it, lollipop ranks first. I'll tell you why. And then perhaps followed by Tabitha, and cocktails follows after. I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you how you approach it, the intention for it, and why it looks the way it looks. So I'm going to take, you know what? I'm kind of tempted to okay, so let me put my little banana. Let me put my banana away, and then let's go back to the messages you sent, and then we can look at the messages, and then we can take them apart. But before you send those messages, of course, assuming that we are dealing with professional relations here, I guess it is presumed here that you have a business, and for that you have an established system or process to follow. Okay. Lollipop, it doesn't matter if you winked it, you still have it. Okay, so let's go. Let me get a tray and put our little banana. Lollipop, you were a little smiley after the compliment. Come on, darling. I am sure you would find your way to problem solving if you were faced with a situation like that. In most cases, there is no right or wrong. You know, there is just a good way of resolving a problem and probably making it better for yourself if you like. So I am so happy. If anything, I am so happy that none of you went, hi, Han. Okay, because remember, it was Sandra would have said, hello, Han, can you help me with the cake for Thursday? And you're like, okay, lovely, I can. Then Sandra thinks they are mates with you. So Sandra comes back with the energy of a mate just because Sandra is running late. And now Sandra has a cake. And then Sandra doesn't like the cake. Now Sandra has to code switch from pretending to be your mate to actually rolling up on you and be like, sis, the cake isn't giving. Okay? So I am so pleased none of you met Sandra with, hey, Han, because that will not be good. Okay, Sandra is not happy with you. She's not your honey, and you should definitely not address her as such. But that said, I think the way you address Sandra is set in principle according to your business structure and communication practice, right? Because if Sandra contacted me and I was inclined to kind of approach them professionally, I am sure Sandra would have presented her complaint in a more professional manner, which means that I don't have to do a lot of heavy lifting, because Sandra will then send me a message. Well, my Sandra really got straight to the point, didn't they? Oh, Lord. Look at Tapeta. Tapeta, you should come hang out with me. What are you going to give to look at me, people? If you're just joining us, okay, for those of you who are just joining us and you probably feel unwelcome because you think this is just a private group, it's not. We are making a banana. I am making a banana cake whilst talking to you about the importance of communication in business. And we have a case scenario, we have a case study here where you may have made a cake to a customer and they've come back complaining about a thing or two, and you have to deal with that. I don't know, today for some reason I am having some random numbers call me, and they seem to be restaurants. It's like, I haven't eaten out in like a long time. Why would a restaurant want to call me? Yeah, what do you call it? Prawn cocktail. Yes, you can do, but I think that will open you up to spam. Okay? It might be cold calls, but so I think, let's see. You know what I can do? Bear with me, guys. Next time I come, remind me to set you guys up as moderators. So by so doing, you can then post something and delete it if you wanted. Remind me to do that. Okay. The function and the cake. No, they are not calling my business number, you know. They are calling my private number. That's the concern. Look at me and my banana. Don't forget, we are going to discuss your responses to Sandra in a minute. Okay. So, yeah. Because prawn cocktail. Yeah, I don't mind at all. But I kind of feel like if you post your email in the chat, it's going to open you up to spam, because I don't edit the lives anymore. Normally, in the past, I used to go and edit some of the boring moments out, but this time the lives are just the lives. If you want to go back and watch, you catch up, because I recognize that the chats are important for other people as well. So I don't edit them. So if you put some personal details in there, it might open you for spam, because we're still growing, and that information means it's available online. You really don't want that. But when I do come back, what I can do is I can set you guys up. Let's see. Let me see if I... Oh, sorry. All right. Prawn cocktail. Let's see. No. You know what? I know there is an easy way to do the moderator thing. I am not sure. I will have a look, and then I'll set all lollipop, tarpeta, and cocktail. I think you guys have earned your moderator stripes. I think when I do set you up for the moderators, you are able to then check and delete messages. Say someone got in the chat and got really disruptive, you can kind of kick them out. And yeah, it comes with a few perks like that. So if you wanted to exchange some detail, you could just drop it, and then once it's clocked, you can delete it out. Hope that kind of makes sense. Anyway, that's the banana. The banana cake, the banana cake doesn't look like a banana now, but stick with me. I'm gonna wipe my work table, and then we can talk about your responses and stay on the subject of communicating in business. And then we'll see. Anyway, for Mother's Day, we still haven't, like, what I do know is that we still haven't confirmed what our plans are for Mother's Day, because I still don't know who is interested in what. But best case scenario, we will all still be here on Mother's Day making cakes for Mom. Okay? So that in itself is not a problem. Let's leave that alone. Right? Okay. Oh, God. I have messed the table up. I kind of feel like I should have got myself a seat for us to kind of like talk about this better. But anyway, we are here. Right, I was just caught in the chat. So let's go back in the chat and look at your responses again. So if you're just joining us, what are we talking about? We're a cake making channel, right? And we're talking about the importance of communicating professionally in business. So we have a case scenario where Sandra, you are new in your cake making business. Sandra contacts you in the late evening to ask for a last minute cake, and her language is rather informal. Hey Han, I know it's too late, can you make me a cake XYZ for collection tomorrow at 11 a.m. if that can't be possible, 4 p.m. The details are very simple. The focus of the message here or the communication is on the basis of its complete informality. And then you respond. You're like, oh, hi, lovely. Thank you for reaching out, or whatever you do. You eventually make the cake for Sandra. Sandra hits you back and goes, I have a problem with the cake. It didn't meet my expectation. What are you going to do? Well, the general consensus obviously is to try and address it and offer them some refund or a credit voucher of some kind. Whilst that is the intention, Sandra didn't ask for a refund. And even if they did, do you just refund them because they asked for it? Or there's a process to adhere to? And if there is a process to adhere to, how do you go about communicating your process with intention whilst also staying professional? Because at this point, Sandra is unhappy and clearly isn't responding to you in a way that you may deem rather respectful. I am so pleased to say, for all of your responses that you put in the chat, you seem to have recognized that you will proceed in a way that doesn't actually exacerbate the situation, but you're more focused on the problem solving aspect of the issue Sandra has brought to your attention, which is actually a good intention if you're looking to resolve a problem. Because when you're looking to resolve a problem, the only emotion here that should matter should be one of empathy, whilst being able to communicate logic using that empathy. It can be really, really difficult to do that. And I'm sure there are more communication experts who can offer you guidance on how to be able to do that, including employing aspects of human psychology to de-escalate a situation whilst also trying to negotiate. Because even in a moment of conflict, what is happening is negotiation. I am mad and I'm telling you what I feel about something and I want something out of you, and your response is, I'm going to agree to what you're saying because it makes sense to me and it appeals to me, or I really don't agree with you because you're annoying me and you actually don't deserve my time. Do you see what's happening here? So if you're able to understand that negotiation is about recognizing what the other person wants, and if it's fairly reasonable and attainable, find a way of meeting them where they need to be. Now, I say that with the exception of also knowing that some people can't be pleased. But it's not an impossible situation to say, even if I can't meet your need, I am not going to be your problem. Does that make sense? Am I missing something? Okay, what am I missing in the chat? So with that said, I'm like, even if I cannot meet your need, I don't want to be your problem. So for that reason, I will go back into the chat and then we can take your individual responses and then we can take them apart. Okay? Bear with me. I think there's a lot happening in the chat between you guys and I'm missing out. I'm kind of, okay. Tapeta did say, I find the whole hand, babe, honey, unprofessional. Thank you. Don't call me your babe. I don't. Don't call me your babe, please. I don't know you. Okay? Oh, God. Oh, wow. Yeah. Right. Let's see. I'm going to go back to your... I'm looking for your messages individually because we've moved on now and I'm going to have to find the message and talk to you. So bear with me whilst we're looking at that. Lollipop comments here. All cakes and buttercream are different and will taste different. She showed the cake she made. Lollipop made a cake for a family and they said she should open a shop. Lollipop, don't listen to them. They want to stress you out, okay? The enemy is trying to stress you out, my dear. No, I am kidding. Of course, if you love to open a shop, by all means, go open. I don't even believe in what I'm saying, is it? It's stressful, okay? Should you open a cake business? Of course, if you... I'm sure you don't have time for that, Lollipop, okay? Right, so Lollipop gave the... I would say, I reiterate that all the responses are acceptable. But for the purposes of this tutorial, for which I am aiming to help you communicate better, I am just going to rank them so that we can pick them apart. So Lollipop's ranked better, as in first place for me. And this is just based on opinion. I'll tell you why. So Lollipop says, hi Sandra, I am sorry to hear that your order didn't meet expectation. I hope I can assist you to rectify this. Please, can you elaborate XYZ, why you didn't enjoy it? So this is the simple basics. I mean, you are going to have to handle issues or communication in business differently, but it will help if you have a point style system mentally, or a way of gauging how you respond, because empathy is going to be your key skill when you are approaching a situation like that, because it's a conflict situation, be it they are not at your door trying to fight you or dropping F-bombs or trying to fight you. They are displeased by an experience they believe they felt they paid for. And more often than not, in my entire business of cake making, there's only a handful of times that I have actually dealt with issues like this. Just, I think I can think of 3 incidents, being the recent one added as 3. The first one was a long time ago. I was new in business. This guy was recommended by a close associate of mine. They got their cake. They ate half of it. Randomly, they showed up at my door. It was a little bit frightening. So I was panicked. I was home alone. So whatever they said, and they really came threatening me. They were literally at my door, and they were like, "Well, you have to do something." It was an unprofessional situation that had like threats to it that I didn't fancy dealing with. So I took the cake. I was able to establish communication professionally with them, stating my intention of what I was going to do. And then I eventually offered them a 50% refund. I didn't offer them the full refund that they were threatening and demanding. And that is because as an established business, I have a process, and the process is documented as part of the ordering process. So when you come to me to buy a cake, you don't just text me and say, "I'll buy a cake," and then you put money in my account. No, that doesn't happen. What happens is that there is a system. You put forward your order. There is an order summary. We agree the order summary. Then I derive the invoice via a software system that is sent out to you, chronicling exact details of your cake as discussed. It is sent to you via email, and it has a link to my terms and conditions, which spells clearly the process and terms of my business, and which includes, say, complaints or issues should issues may arise. And these are all stipulated clearly in the link according to my terms and conditions for you. So when you come to me with a problem, I am covered to go back to the terms that you signed up for when you decided to patronize my business. So because of that, it gives me confidence to handle certain issues that are within the scope of running a cake business. That said, if you're not set up and on the back end you're doing all of this, I will say to you, as a cake business, as a growing cake business, or somebody who is looking to transition into cake business, find a summary of your terms and conditions covering some aspects of your everyday business dealings. Because trust me, people will come at you. People will try to get freebies off you through every little trick they can pull. So for that reason, when a customer comes to you and they say they are displeased with an order, obviously you have to enter the conversation with empathy, even if you are annoyed at them. Because with empathy, you are going to only de-escalate the situation. Because all of us, never mind being a business owner who has to deal with conflict, we have all been business customers to a brand name business where we've shopped for something we haven't liked. I have returned stuff all the time. Hello, remember my juicer from Temu? Okay, remember my juicer from Temu, right? You buy things all the time that you have to return, and different things happen. So I think the part where a customer comes to you is a relatable feeling that should solicit your absolute attention to want to de-escalate the situation, empathize with them. And the reason why Lollipop's message stands out is because she enters by apologizing, not apologizing because she believes she did something wrong, but she's apologizing because, "I'm sorry to hear." That is offering a sort of middle ground to say, "I see you. I recognize you have a problem. I actually appreciate and I can see that this doesn't bode well for you." Do you see what I'm saying? Sometimes when we go off trying to fight for something, much of the time, what we are fighting for isn't what we really need. What we need is attention. What we need is recognition. What we need is humanity. What we need is a bit of kindness. Honestly, even if a customer came and went, "I want a refund," half of the time they just want your attention to feel a little bit special. okay, to feel that their needs are met. And meeting a person's need is not necessarily giving them anything but which is material, but offering them some sort of emotional like visibility. So in this case, Lollipop is saying, Sandra, I am sorry the cake didn't meet your expectation. In such little words, she said, you know what? I see you. I recognize we have a problem and I am here for you. Do you see what I'm saying? That is why Lollipop's message stands out. She also goes on to say, whilst I see you and I recognize you have a problem and I am here for you, she goes on to saying, I am open to actually helping you fix this. Now tell me, unless we are dealing with somebody who is just off on day one and wants a fight, you're not going anywhere with this if Lollipop meets you with this. She's kind of like poured cold ice on your brewing fire. Nothing is happening. Nothing. Like you would be... That Lollipop is better off just looking at you after she says this and then watch you go crazy if you choose to be. But generally, this message is actually a good opening to say, I see you. How can I help you? And then professionally, what makes Lollipop's message a little bit of a standout for me is that she hasn't quickly gone into resolve mode and gone, okay, this is what I can do. She's asking for more clarity. As a business, you will find that it is important, even if you do intend to resolve the problem quickly, having clarity is absolutely necessary. Because you know why? Sometimes, yes, when your fear kicks in and you feel like, oh, let me just deal with this because my humanity tells me, let me solve this. It can also signal guilt. Why are you so quick to offer a refund? Did you know the cake was bad? Good question. And if you're dealing with a customer who doesn't recognize their boundaries, they will keep pushing and pushing and pushing until you end up with a real situation. So understand that you can offer empathy. You can offer the opportunity for resolve, both of which Lollipop has done, but maintain a stance of seeking clarity to the issue before putting forward your offer. Okay, and I think Lollipop has done that very well in such small words. Like she did, as a person who likes to just drag on a whole conversation, I like to just stay concise when I'm writing. And that is very appealing. So that is the reason why Lollipop's message to Sandra stands out for me. She's followed by Tabitha. And Tabitha says, Dear Sandra, thank you for reaching out. She's recognizing that she appreciates Sandra coming to her with her concern. Like Lollipop, she says, I am disappointed to hear about your experience. She's offering her middle ground. She's offering her compromise. She's empathizing. She's saying, you're here. I see you. Okay. And then she says, I have reviewed your complaint. So I'm assuming because our case study is very generic, I am assuming Tabitha may have at this point sought clarity, maybe based on the information she received, looked at the images and the extra detail and thought, you know what, I have looked at it. So while Tabitha's message here doesn't state clearly that she sought extra information, what she's done is that she has preceded her offer to resolve the problem by saying, I have reviewed your complaint and reviewed the ingredients as well. Because the assumption here is that there is more context to Sandra's message. And she says, as well as the process of making the cakes, finding that there was an issue, I would like to offer. So you know what? In this case, in context, I'm assuming that Tabitha would have sought extra information or at least looked at the images and thought, the issue Sandra is raising is legitimate, for which she is completely at fault. Okay, because half of the time, especially when you're dealing with bigger corporate bodies, right? If you've noticed, half of the time, corporate bodies are not quick to accept responsibility because of the repercussions of that. Professionally, in a corporate environment, the word sorry, the humanity of saying sorry, can cost you your entire livelihood. And actually, it's probably a thought to bear in mind that whilst we are preaching empathy, humanity, kindness, and supporting your customer through communication, the word sorry, more so if you mean it, can cost you. It can cost you an amount you can never afford to pay. So if you've noticed, corporate bodies they would pay you anything but to say sorry. Okay, and there's reason for that. So I think the only reason Tapeta's message came second to Lollipop, it would have probably been a tie. But the only reason Tapeta's response comes short of Lollipop's is simply because she goes in to say it is her fault. Now, I am assuming Tapeta has done her homework with this client, with Sandra, and she kind of has a fair judgment of Sandra's character to say, I'm comfortable enough to say, this is completely my fault. Because here's the question, Tapeta, what are you at fault for? Are you at fault for the allergen that caused her tummy to run over there? Because the point here is not to scale responsibility, but the point here is to make sure that you're communicating in a way that doesn't make you vulnerable to potential suits and extra claims that you cannot afford. Okay, so for that reason, I would have stopped short of having reviewed the ingredients and the processes. It is my fault. I would have stopped short of that and found a way to say, I have reviewed it. I recognize that there may be some consideration for the process here, but to avoid any further distress, I am willing to give you the money. It's not so much scaling responsibility. It's not also so much trying to use words to get out of a situation. That's not what I'm pointing at. What I'm pointing at is that you've got to know the customer you're dealing with to be sure that by owning to a sort of mistake that may be redressed easily, you're not completely handing yourself on the table to a plunderer who will plunder everything off you. Okay, so that is the reason why that is like a secondary option to me. And then Cocktail was the her response. Cocktail, this is you. Hi, hello Sandra. I appreciate you reaching out. So same, your opening is great. Offering her middle ground, offering her empathy, offering her an opportunity to sort of meet her. There's consideration there. There is kindness. You're welcoming her. Got it, right? You're saying in relation to the order, right? With images attached, right? After reviewing your complaint and taking your feedback on board, I concede. Let's see. What am I? I concede with the issue which is genuine, which fell short of your expectation. In this instance, I'll offer, you know what, Cocktail, you are nearly there. I think if I have to swap places, I probably will put you above Tapeta. The reason being, Tapeta has completely exposed herself to the possibility of someone who might take advantage of her admission here, right? You can admit without admitting. And I think a good example here is what Cocktail has done, which is that she has reviewed the processes and having looked at it and recognizing that the complaint is genuine, she has decided to offer a credit note. So she's not saying I am at fault. She's actually validating that whether I agree or not, your complaint is genuine, and for that, this is what I have to offer you, which is a better result, because ultimately it's all about what the customer wants. It's not about you. Okay, sometimes business owners, especially in the developing issue of this my Sandra over here. Remember, if you don't know my Sandra I am dealing with, I have a complaining customer and the issue is developing. I have stopped myself from having to discuss it on here for the simple reason that it is still like a developing subject, and I do not want to weaponize an audience against a customer who doesn't have a voice of their own, no matter how badly they have behaved. I am hoping though that I can address this with the customer, and once done and I am in a better headspace, I can come back and we can use that as a clarifying, teachable opportunity to educate how to handle conflicts in business. So that's where we are at. So I say that to say, if I went and told my Sandra that actually the birds didn't eat the cake, she will ask me for a full refund plus a 3-tier cake. Make sure the birds do not reject the cake this time. Okay, so that's my reason, but I think I'm so far off from the chat. Let's go back to the chat here and see. Okay, right. Yeah, Lollipop. Yes, Lollipop, have a good one. You won the competition today. Take care, my dear. I am sure we'll catch up in the chat. All right, do take care, because you're taking the little person and going for the stroll and the school run. So have a good one. Okay, the birds are easier to appease. Cocktail, are you sure? Turns out the birds didn't even want to eat my cake. Okay, right? Okay, so let's see. Tapeta has sort of tried to revise her response. So let's see what Tapeta has to say here. Cocktail, yes, I need a masticating juicer. Okay, I want to live healthy. I woke up super bloated. I had to go for a walk. I want a masticating juicer. Okay, that stuff is expensive. Okay, and I went and I got one from Table. Please don't buy your electrical gadgets from Table. Okay. I posted it on the community post. It was actually for my birthday. I thought, I make a decision to be healthy. And guess what? The next healthy thing I did was the unhealthiest financial option, to go buy an electrical gadget from Table. Like, who does that? Please don't do that, people. Please do not do that. I know there are some good deals, but I just thought, you know what they say? If it's too good to be true, it probably is. Oh, you love juicing barley. Wow. Okay, that must be so much fun. Anyway, so let's go back to Tapeta's chat. Sandra ordered I assume the cake, I assume in this cake study we could make up details. Yes, Tapeta. Sandra ordered vanilla buttercream and I made vanilla. Okay, right. So yes. So you know what, Tapeta, you are still right where you are. So correct. The fact that the complaining, the issue that the customer raises is one that can be solved, because then yes, they wanted American buttercream, you go and give them Swiss Meringue buttercream. That's on you. So yes, owning up to it the way you have is exactly what it should be. So yes, for that you're right. Big producer,
hello.
If you're picking little producer, do us a favor.
Go on.
Remember to get his stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Please, yeah. Because he came back home.
I know.
Yeah. All right. So if you're going, we'll see you then. Okay.
I'm just having a ciggy first. I'm going in. Like
Doom Roth. Doom Roth. Where have you come from, honey? Hello. Are you Doom? You know what? Prawn cocktail. At this point, I could, because I cannot stop eating. Oh God. You know what? I used to. Okay. Yes. I cannot stop eating. I love to eat. Okay. I love my Ghanaian food, and and it makes, I'm feeling a little bloated. I think above all, it's the brain fog that I can't handle. Oh, I have terrible brain fog and focus issues. I can't focus very much. I have terrible brain fog. I'm like, oh, can I just go and, when I exercise and I eat well and I sleep well, I am like, my productivity level is like off the charts. But when I go 2 weeks eating my very hearty Ghanaian foods, doing little exercises whilst maximizing doom scroll screen time, that's the death of my dreams and goals. Okay. Okay, cocktail. I think the ADD ADHD sisters, it's okay, we'll be all right, can't we? Yeah, I don't need all of those things for. I know people who juice for, say, weight loss and that. None of that is my problem. Okay, I just want to get my mental clarity back and productivity and focus. But even the temptation to eat properly is in itself a problem. Like the part where I have to eat properly. When I wake up, some days I'm like, okay, I'm going to try and have myself, say, an egg sandwich, as in, because of the protein. And guess what? Before I knew it, I've gobbled like dry toast with chocolate sauce. It's wild, okay, people? It's wild. And then later in the evening, I'm sitting there 11 o'clock and I'm craving crisps. What? Oh, honey, what am I missing in the infrared blanket? Really? An infrared blanket? Sis, what is that? Okay, let's see. Okay. Tapita said there is an answer. Okay, let's see. Oh, doom scroll. You know what? We address people doom rot. I know it's a fake name. Nobody gets called Doom. Okay, honey, relax. All right. But I don't know you, Carl. Have I met you before, Carl? Right. I'm going back to what Tabitha was asking. Okay. Oh, okay. Dear Sandra, thank you for reaching out with your concerns regarding your order. If you would clarify exactly what your complaint is, what you're asking for, I would love to get this resolved in a manner that is suitable for both of us. You know what? That is providing empathy and stating your intention also. And I suspect both of you might want exactly the same thing. So at this point, if she comes and says, can I get a refund? The ball is in your court to kind of assess whether she can get a full refund or she can get some part refund. So that is equally also a good response. Okay, Carl? Yeah, Carl, we've never met before. We just meeting today. So thank you for telling me you're Carl. It's quite unusual that people tell us their names, okay? So I naturally go by addressing them or with the sort of name that shows up. But Carl, I hope you're having a good afternoon. Where are you joining us from? I'm assuming afternoon because I'm in England where it is still afternoon, nearly 3 p.m. UK time. Where are you joining us from? And you know what? Today, it seems like we're not doing much, and yes, we are not doing much. But in fact, we're discussing communication in business. So we have a case study of an assumed message from a customer named Sandra. Sandra is very fictitious, okay? She doesn't exist. This is not for any Sandra that I know. I have not had issues with any Sandra. Sandra is a fictional character here. So we have a fictional customer called Sandra. Sandra hit you up late at night going, hey, honey, no, hey, honey is dangerous. It's like, I don't know you. Hey, hon, can I have a cake? It's last minute. The context here is because Sandra is getting really informal and a little friendly with you because they are booking the cake a little bit late and it's on short notice. So they are trying to make you feel better about yourself so you can make them a cake. You respond, you end up making the cake for Sandra. Sandra comes back and switches up on you and be like, hey, I've got an issue with the cake. The cake didn't turn out as expected. So you have a potentially displeased, disgruntled customer coming at you with an issue that you have to resolve. So the task here today we weren't just talking away. The task here was for us to sort of initiate how we were going to communicate to Sandra in light of the complaints that Sandra has expressed about the displeasure of her experience. That is what we are discussing. Of course, I'm a cake making channel, and I know that most of the time we talk about cakes and everything to do with cakes, and I actually come here to make cakes, okay? But the aspects that runs in tandem with the cake business is how to talk to your cake business customers, which inspires confidence, solidifies your own reputation, and also enhances your skill of interacting with them, which is all done through this simple medium of communicating, whether it is verbal or it is written. Okay, so that is what we are doing. So Carl, having heard what we are dealing with, if you were faced with a situation like this, how would you respond? Sandra is like, Carl, please, the cake you made for me isn't great, or the item you sold for me isn't great. What are you going to do? Okay, let's hear what you've got to say. Okay. Oh. Prawn cocktail, you make me feel so much better about myself. And now you're recommending an infrared blanket? Sis, tell me all about that infrared blanket, okay? Because I need me a masticating juicer, I need an infrared blanket, and I need my journal. Because you know what? I tell you, it's been a struggle the last couple of weeks. Like the last 2 weeks have been a struggle. My focus has been out of whack. Like it's been really hard, right? And on Sunday I went out for a hike with family and friends. It was great because I struggle to get out. When I say, I know being outdoors, getting fresh air is fun, but I dread the notion of doing it. But when I do eventually break free and I go, it's like amazing. I like nature, okay? So I did that, and I kind of felt like I felt a sense of calm in my life a little bit. Because up until Sunday, I just felt like there was ringing in my head all the time. It was so busy. I can't tell you one thing I was thinking about. I just felt really unsettled. Whereas going for the walk, it was a long hike. It wasn't a walk. It was like a 2-hour hike. I was so tired and cranky after it. I felt really settled and felt better. And you know what? For the very first time, I was able to enjoy something as boring as listening to an audio Bible. Because normally when I am sort of hypersensitive and struggling to focus, listening to the Bible just is like, it's so dreary. But for the very first time, I was able to read, not sit and read, but listen to my Bible. And actually, I could tell you what I read, what I took out of it, like literally sort of journal in an audio way, which was really nice. So today, I woke up and I felt like, look, my Sandra is in my head, and I will kind of think, and I just needed to step out of it. So I took a long walk. I think I didn't take my phone that would measure my steps, because taking the phone that measures my steps kind of distracts me, and I just wanted to have a chill time. So I didn't. But when I've done that walk, it is normally about 7,000 steps in and out. So I feel a lot better. Carl. Let's see. Am I missing something? Right. So, oh, we have two Carls now. We have Carl and we have Carl Jr. All right. Nice to meet you, Carl Jr. Carl Jr. Are you a new baker? Oh, okay. That's Tapita asking. That's fine. I bake. Oh, okay. Carl Jr., you do bake sometimes. You know what? Baking takes time, so don't give up even if they don't yield the results you need to start with. You will eventually get there, okay? Oh, so Carl Jr. is different from Doom, okay? So Carl, I am smiling at my neighbor, okay? Look at me. I'm smiling at my neighbor. Not my neighbor, it's my neighbor's kid, but the kid is my friend and I am smiling at my neighbor's kid, okay? He normally, look, that kid has brought me ice cream on lives here, and I've given him cookies on lives here. Look, I'm in my home kitchen, okay? So life is out lifing, and I'm just having fun with my neighbor, okay? Oh, you're the same person. Okay, so Carl, is the Doom the troll account where you go and mess about and cause trouble on this part of the internet street? Okay. Doom and Carl Jr. Yeah, I know. So Prawn Cocktail says sometimes so Prawn Cocktail is giving me some tips. If you can't focus, you might find it to use a metronome. What is that? Or music in the background that can cycle your, okay. You know what? Tabitha says, Carl, this got really real. Okay, so Carl the Doom, you are literally causing doom on this part of the internet, is it? Okay, I mean, we can't be mad, sis. Girls. Oh, okay, that's fine. Thank you, Cocktail. I think, Cocktail, you should stick around for long because I'll feel a lot better with you in my corner, okay? Carl, hello. Carl, come here. Let's have a conversation about what you've been doing on this corner of the internet. Tabitha, is that you? Let me clarify. We have got Carl feeling like, oh my goodness, where have I just come to now? I mean, you are in a whole confessional, honey. You are going to have to admit to all the crimes and tell us where you've been hiding all them bodies, okay? Carl says, let me clarify. When I baked the cake in the pressure cooker, okay, so oh, okay, Cocktail, you've been shopping for things to make your cakes, right? Cocktail, you've been shopping for stuff to make a cake. Oh, fantastic. We are happy for you, Cocktail. Look at me. Where is my food coloring? My head, look. My people, I want to see where my food coloring is. Remember when I went shopping for them? You know what? I did say I wanted to eat healthy, right? Except while stood here, all I'm thinking about, people, is cookies. Chocolate chip cookies. It's not a good thing, is it? I am kind of thinking, where is my food? Let me see. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I've got it. Oh God, I've got it. I wanted my yellow food coloring. So the details of the banana will not be made until we've covered the banana, because then we have to cover it and then manipulate it to get what we need out of it. But I've got myself my new brushes, so I actually am excited. Star Peter, are you a troll on these internet streets? Come and confess your sins, Star Peter. Sometimes even on WhatsApp. Who is causing issues on WhatsApp? Does that even exist? Okay, let's see. Right, so I have fondant here, people. Let's mix the fondant. Let's mix the fondant. Let's get this doing right. Let's do it. I think Smurfettes. Look at you people out here causing trouble. Star Peter, don't encourage Cockatiel, don't encourage Star Peter. Okay? Don't encourage it. You know who we haven't had back in the chat for a little while? Thelma. Where is Thelma? Somebody tell Thelma. Somebody tell Thelma we miss her. Thelma, where are you? I need to stop and send her a message to say hello. She's been a little while since we last saw her. Right? The fondant is very tight. Okay, now what I'm going to do is add, I said we were making a banana, right? So a banana is yellow. It's so satisfying. Yes, yes. Look at you people. You people have loyalty. I've got to go back and ask these people where they are. I miss them. Okay, Laura brings a whole different spirit in the chat. I was surprised when she said she was an accountant. I'm like, oh, okay, that's really nice. I could never guess, right, what you guys do in your everyday life. But look, it's a pleasure to be here with you people. Look at, okay, we've got the yellow. Let's get it mixed. The thing with hyper realistic cake is that you don't really have to do anything like perfect. Even if you're trying to get the element, you don't have to do it perfectly. So we've got the yellow, but this is such bright yellow, so essentially you could interpret it as a sort of the banana that is ripe but still fresh. Look at me and my brushes. Okay, so let's try and see if we can add a bit of brown here. Did I put plastic? Oh no, I didn't put plastic. I will wipe my countertop. It doesn't stain. It doesn't stain. It will be fine. I just need a little bit of brown, just a little bit here. Okay, just so that I can darken the yellow, because the yellow is a little bit bright for me, and as you can tell, a banana isn't. So what I've done is I've just put the brown in there, and I'm not even trying to mix it together. Just a little dot here, and what I'm doing is that I'm just trying to kind of spread it around to stain the fondant a bit. Can you see? It adds texture. Yeah, you can add red, but you know what? I think even as a cake maker and as an artist, something I don't do very well is I am not very, when I'm adding colors, I am very, you know, sometimes people are very dainty and they take their time. I am very like, Bosh, let's get stuff going. Okay, that's so. You like red bananas? Where did you see red banana? Tap it up. Now don't tell me you eat organic, because I'm gonna fall down if you do that. Okay, Tapita eats organic banana. Tapita. Tapita out here. Right. And we're going to roll this over. Let's roll this bit. Now, because this is made from molded cake, and because I need to kind of shape the banana up, I am probably not going to roll it too thin. So what I am going to do is get the banana and wrap it up. Oh, what did I do that for? Okay, let's get ourselves. Can you tell that I didn't plan for this? Can you tell? Can you tell I didn't plan for this at all? Okay, there you go. So let's wrap the banana up. I like me a banana. And whatever we are doing here, okay, the banana's little brother. Okay, so whatever we are doing here, I am just moving this in here. Remember, I have done the cousin of banana, which is plantain, before. So even though this is a banana, it's still the same process. So okay, now I am cutting that away, and so any extra that is left is intentional, just so that I can use it to mold. Is Carl gone, or Carl is still with us? Okay, there we go. Right, so okay, we want to make sure. If I was using modeling chocolate, it would be easy to cover the seam. Nonetheless, it's not too late, because even by creating a not so perfect seam adds character to the banana. Okay, so there you go. So with that done, let's go back to shaping the banana. So we could go back to Okay. And don't forget, I know I have a banana here, a real life banana. So, and right, and okay. Mind you, I have a banana to my side over here. So much of how a banana is made is based on the details you can think. What I might do is I might just have to take this. It is looking like a banana though. It's like, but Glad, why do you want to make a banana? Well, there's no rhyme or reason to it. I just felt like I wanted to make a banana. Once I made up my mind, I went for it. Okay. It's like, why? Why a banana? Because I like bananas. So, we are not there yet. It does take a little bit of time and work to kind of get the fine details. I think on this note, I might have shot myself a little bit because the fondant is a bit dry, and molding it to get the details of a banana can be awfully difficult to do. But it doesn't mean we can't achieve a banana. The thing with a banana is, even with the imperfection, it adds character. It's like, okay. Sometimes it's all about refining the details. Okay, so I am just refining the details here. Who thinks this looks like a banana they will eat? Okay, it's not overripe, so it's still a fairly nice clean banana. What do you think? Not that you asked for a banana, did you? Hello, Caroline, darling. We were literally talking about you. If you go up to the chat, you'll see. Because I was like, oh, I haven't seen Laura and Thelma. Well, I was asking after Thelma. And then somebody said in the chat and mentioned you in the chat that we haven't caught up. Great to have you. How are you, my dear? And how are the grandbabies? Today we were covering quite a few different things, but right now I don't know how I got to wanting to make a banana, but look, I am not even mad about me and my banana. Okay? Does that look like a banana? Or it's too big for a banana? I could shape it to be smaller. Does that look like a banana? What do you think? I literally made a banana. Okay, it is. What do you think? Judge my banana. Let's see. Okay. Do you think that is a banana? I am actually so proud of my banana. But it needs some refining details, I guess. You know what? Don't give me any ideas, okay? I am actually thinking of making the fruit bowl with my banana. Look, does that look like a banana? How did we get here? Yeah, I think an edible fruit bowl will be amazing. Yeah, I don't mind. We're up for that. Okay, we're completely up for this. Look at that banana. Okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put my okay. We have a fair trade label on our banana. The lie they sell us all the time. Now let's make sure we get the banana and I'm trying to see, you know what I'm like. I'm just trying to make this a little more. It's like I don't know. You know what? I don't know how I got here, but I love it. Yeah, I don't know how I got here, but I'm loving this. Okay, let's see. Because I'm trying to create. Look at me focus on my banana. I'm not ignoring you people. You see why I just either talk or just make cakes. I can't do both. I'm not one of those people. I'm not gifted like that. I can't do both. I'm either talking or making something. Okay. I think to the best of my knowledge, at least I think we have a banana. Okay, we have a banana. That is a good banana, right? That is a good banana. What do you think about my banana? Is it close? What do you think? Is it close? Right. Anyway, we are done with our banana today. You guys just make me feel special, okay? We are done with our banana. That is something we did on the live today. I think that, okay. Thank you, Tapita. Okay. Now that I've finished my banana cake, I bet it's time to say we've achieved some results today. And whilst I would love to stay here and keep catching up, it's time to say goodbye. And we're back tomorrow. But little producer is not back. He'll be back soon. I want to clear up before he actually gets back because I need to sort him dinner. So I'll be making maybe cake or not with the little producer just so that we are clear. So yeah, that's a banana. It's weird, but I think I could have made the top a little better, but at least it still looks like a banana. That's what. Thank you, Jay. Thank you. Thank you. As long as it looks like a banana. So let's see if we lift our banana and we have this. Do we think we have? I think my Ghanaian self is looking at this as a plantain instead of banana, because I think we could have curved this a little bit, but either way, you can get some bananas that are big. You never know. So yeah, there you go. There you go. So yeah, we got the banana. People, let me go. I'll see you tomorrow. Cocktail, Tapita, Jay, Carl, and all of you. Thank you for being here today. Catch up on the community post for photos of our banana. We'll be back tomorrow with some more serious stuff to do. Okay? Have a good one, and I'll see you soon.